This episode, what I learned in auto racing, takes us from Rockefeller Plaza, where I was on NBC Today doing a segment for our new product, which led to an invite to the Indy 500, where I ended up collaborating with 3 former Indy 500 champs, and those guys leading me to NASCAR, U.S. Tailgating, and along the way, a $500 investment in a group of cheerleaders who taught life lessons in how to scale innovation, managing top-of-funnel activities, and balancing that with supply chain. It's just a fascinating, fun story. Sit back and buckle up. After more than a decade of building my technology businesses, I took my CRM and telephony software division and sold that off to a public company. And I came right back and took my services businesses, bundled those up, and sold those to a private equity-backed roll-up. During my non-compete period, I had to find something to keep me out of trouble and stay away from technology for a bit. That opened up an opportunity to do something I'm passionate about, and that was to develop new products and bring them to market. I created an innovation agency where our goal was to seek out innovation in all forms, develop it, and bring it to the masses. Our first product out of the chute was this crazy product called the Grill and Chill. It was hailed as the ultimate tailgating experience. These units were carried on vehicle hitches and brought to a location where they could be easily detached and rolled to the center of the party. Total fun. Out of the gate, we signed agreements with all types of national brands who would use our products in their promotional activities. This led to just a flood of media attention. Just a feel-good story about tailgating and Americana, from the Wall Street Journal to Maxim to Fortune and you name it, and then on to all the morning news programs doing pieces on the Grill and Chill. Heck, even The Price is Right wanted to get on our action. Just a total hoot and a great way to start a new innovative business. Throughout this episode of Elevating Performance, I'm going to come back at the end of every chapter and give a little bit more detail behind the scenes about what happened with Grill and Chill Racing, from the Indy 500 champions through NASCAR and other incidental things that happened along the way. It's really a fun story. I'll also take some time and put into context what Elevator 321 could have done differently for the Grill and Chill Racing team. Literally talking about their innovation journey and some of their top-of-the-funnel activities and all the sales ecosystem items where we could have provided counsel to them to have even greater results. Should be a fun one. Where it landed me was in a suite at Turn 2 during the time trials at the Indy 500. I was sitting literally at a card table, chatting with 3 new friends. Rick was on my left. Al was directly in front of me. And to my right was a chap named Mario. Total royalty. All former Indy champs, and they were all discussing how to bring the Grill and Chill to market. They concluded that NASCAR was the path that we should go to. That weekend, they walked me over and introduced me to the France family. Within a couple of weeks, I signed a naming rights deal where the Grill and Chill infield at Michigan International Speedway was part of it. Pretty awesome. That race week experience was really over the top. Sitting at the table with these racing legends, meeting the France family, signing a contract in effectively just hours, it felt like. All of it was surreal. However, our business plans were based around U.S. football season, not the racing season. You'll hear later on in the story that we blew out of our inventory. And tech guys, we're used to smashing atoms and accelerating deliverable dates. But in the material world, when you have supply chains, making sure that your overall strategy, your sales tactics are all in alignment, certainly with your supply chain. Kind of critical, especially if you're doing 1-step and 2-step distribution. As far as the things that I had done, the least expensive thing in this whole story was a $500 expense for something known as the Velocity Girls. They were a professional cheerleading outfit, and they'll come back into the story in a little bit. As far as our activation work, from time trials and through the race weekend, we would have pickup trucks all labeled up with product hanging off the back of them, and the Velocity Girls along for the ride. We go out into the RV lots. MIS is Michigan's largest campground, RVs as far as you could see. And our units had just phenomenal sound systems built into them. So we would park
Attach the units, just crank up the music, start passing out free beers with koozies with our logo on there. And then the Velocity girls would come out and do a dance routine. All the good old boys would pour out of the RVs. We'd be making all kinds of friends as we did product demos with them. People get up and, try to dance with the girls. It was a hoot. We'd shake hands, give up some promotional material, then we'd drive another 100 yards or so and rinse, wash, and repeat. We did that through the whole weekend. Lots of great lessons from this last chapter. The very top one is the Velocity girls. I recall at the time we had hired a promoter to help us get ready for race weekend. Literally in the advance meetings where we're going through agenda and going through line items of what we're going to engage and do, I just had a burden over my shoulders because every line item was more zeros than the previous one. And when we finally get to the line item what were listed the Velocity girls, I had no idea what that meant, but it was $500. And I was thrilled, not because of what they were going to deliver, but because it was so much less expensive than all the other zeros I was blowing out. In there was kind of a fun message. Sometimes when you're disrupting a new industry, being number one and writing the biggest checks, that's silly. Scale your way into it. Don't be so cheap, but at the same time, you're probably disrupting the industry or whatever you're bringing to market. Or continue that creativity, lean into it, figure out ways that you can get out with that where those customers live, and figure out a nimble way to get close to them. They'll reward you for it. Sunday, which is race day, we were in the ceremonial first lap. We were in the second car, immediately behind the pace car. We were in a truck. My family was with me. All our windows were down. And I'll never forget, as we came around the lap, MIS is a 2-mile track. Infield was effectively a campground, just full of RVs and some nuts. Just a hoot. Anyway, as we boogied around the track, and when you start to approach turn 4, that's really where the massive grandstands begin. So as you're banking, MIS has got 18-degree corners and is one of the fastest tracks in NASCAR. So when you're driving, you're looking up, you feel all this pressure coming down on you at that angle. And as you look up, you can see way up into the grandstand. And you swear they go almost up to the top of the sky. Totally impressive. Well, it's race week, so there's just nothing but noise and power and engines going. Pretty cool experience. But as we came banking into that corner, I was hit with a new sound, just a wave of just almost like a roar. And as we got closer to it, what I heard was chants of grill and chill, grill and chill, grill and chill. Totally unreal. My hairs are standing on end. Turns out that $500 expense for those Velocity girls, they were stationed up and down the grandstands, and they had encouraged everyone to start cheering. So as we went down this main straightaway, you have all the stands off to your right, the paddock was off to your left. The whole way, they were just chanting our product brand. Totally awesome. I went all the way down to almost turn 1 where they pull you off the track. Awesome experience. Lots of great lessons from this last chapter. Managing that supply chain. In our case, we blew out of inventory. We went into that race weekend really kind of gearing up for North American football. We weren't expecting to do this at that time, and we got caught because we sold everything that we possibly had. Then later on, we had delays in our inbound supply chain, which really killed our U.S. football season. And there was a message in there because I'm the one who made the mistake. I was so adamant on going offshore in our manufacturing because I had a whole bunch of innovation that was going on in our core units. They should have been more tactical. Continue that process, but look at the existing boutique small fabricators that we had been using and get them to scale up. Even if I was losing a little bit or some percentage of money on each transaction, nothing could, for the most part, offset the damage I did by not having inventory while we're trying to build a channel. So 2 messages. Hooray for Velocity girls. Try to find those innovative ways to sell and engage. And secondly, be really wary about thinking you're the smartest person around and being so headstrong. Sometimes an outside counsel can help you look at things differently and make better decisions.
Thanks as always for tuning in. If you're interested in being a future guest or in talking to the College of Coaches and learning about our leadership and sales effectiveness services, visit us at elevator321.com. Until next time, always remember, think straight and talk straight. And keep selling. Speak soon.